Electrification as a process has come into Indian music a long time ago. Many Carnatic musicians had electrified their instruments a long time back. A lot of the violin players were already playing electric. The great U. Srinivas ji electrified his mandolin a long time ago. I think the main need for electrification was it's like using a different microphone. It's like with sound technology, just like we have dynamic microphones, then condenser microphones is the next level. After that, you have transducers which pick up the vibration of the instrument. It's just another kind of microphone which uses an electromagnetic field which is created around the strings and senses movements in that electromagnetic field to simulate. So the only difference between all these other kinds of microphones and an electric pickup is that in the other kinds of microphones they actually pick up the sound of the instrument, sound or vibration of the instrument itself is translated into sound. However, in this electric kind of pickup where an electromagnetic field is created, it does not at all require to pick up vibrations of the instrument. It just picks up the movement of the string within this electromagnetic field, and there is no sound of the instrument to start with. There is a processor which is essentially a computer or a microprocessor which translates these movements of the string within the electromagnetic field into sounds. So there is a whole bunch of zeros and ones which are creating the sound, and it's listening to the frequency that's being played and then creating a completely different sound. So you could be playing the sitar and you could be getting a sound of the flute or a violin using what is called a synth, processor synth. There's a synth tone that you can use, or that is called a MIDI pickup. When it picks up, listens to the note that you're playing, and that MIDI pickup uses the processor to create that same note in a different instrument. When I am using electromagnetic pickup for a sitar and creating a sound which is maybe distorted, which uses some overdrive, which uses things like as I said, overdrive or distortion, or even like a high amount of reverb with some delay, which is processed by that processor. These are essentially requirements related to the genre of music that I'm playing. So if I'm trying to play a sitar in, say, a rock song, the nature of the acoustic, the resonant, very sort of natural, organic tone of the acoustic sitar may not be well suited to that kind of song. At the same time, me being a sitar player and knowing the technique of sitar playing, I could only play a sitar. I couldn't play a guitar. If I were to play a murki or a harkat or a krintan, I would know how to play it on the sitar. So essentially what I'm trying to do is to bring that rock sound, which is overdriven or a distorted kind of sound, but the content would be a murki or a harkat or a sitar player's content. So that is the advantage of using an electrified sitar. It is not necessarily about just loudness or volume, because very often using overdrive or using a high amount of reverb actually leads to decreased attack. So the attack of the instrument actually, many times when I'm playing with a drummer, I prefer playing my acoustic instrument because it has higher attack than my electric instrument. But often if I'm playing in a rock song, I prefer using like, for instance, if I were to play a phrase like this. If I were playing a blues, I wouldn't want to play so many strokes, because then that takes away from the nature of the music. There I would prefer to play an electrified instrument. Having said that, an acoustic sitar has the character of a sitar. So if I'm going to play, say, with a harp, western harp, or if I'm going to play something which is operatic voices or tenor, and I want to bring in the essential flavor of the sitar, then there is nothing which can beat the acoustic sitar, the resonance of the instrument. So I think both forms have its pros and cons, and the musician has to decide what he's looking for, what he or she is looking for, and what genre of music they're playing with, and what he or she can bring to the table. I, for my own part, as a matter of judgment, if I'm playing with an ensemble which is predominantly electric, like if I'm going to play with an electric guitar player, electric bass player, and a drummer, I will always choose my acoustic instrument. 95% of the time, I choose my acoustic instrument. 5% of the time, if I am actually playing with an ensemble, where there is a lot of acoustic players, and there is like a rock genre kind of song, or if there is a song which has a lot of processed kind of production based elements, then I sometimes play my electric instrument.